This is And I Am Kitty Hollywood. Now today's review is of a film that was so controversial that it had an alias working title, A Can of Beans. It's Paramount 1950 release, Sunset Boulevard. It was produced by Charles Brackett. It was directed by Billy Wilder. The music is by Franz Waxman. The cinematography is by John F. Zeitz. The gowns are by Edith Head. It was written by both Charles Brackett and Billy Wilder. It stars Gloria Swanson, William Holden, Erich Von Stroheim and Nancy Olson. It's about a washed out writer who, when trying to escape the debt collectors, happens upon the decrepit old mansion of silent movie star Norma Desmond. Monkey funeral, Cecil B. DeMille and leopard print ensue.
Wait a minute, haven't I seen you before? I know your face.
Get out, or shall I call my servant?
You're Norma Desmond. Used to be in silent pictures, used to be big.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
Now, look, honestly, I don't think there are all that many people out there who aren't aware of the quote.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
What they might not be aware of, though, is the level of awesomeness surrounding this quote. Hollywood in the 1950s did not point any light whatsoever into its murky grey areas. Large amounts of money was spent ensuring that its stars always looked stellar. Fixers were involved. To point a light at people falling through the Hollywood cracks, it just simply wasn't done. This film hinges upon this, and it was incredibly controversial. The role of Norma Desmond was offered to Mae West, to Mary Pickford, to Paul Negri. They were all horrified at the thought of having to portray an aging, slightly insane movie star, and they turned it down. No one wanted this. So in the end, they offered it to Gloria Swanson, who took it on board because she was convinced she was never going to get another movie job again, being around 50 years of age. The role of Joe Gillis was written for Montgomery Clift. He turned it down because, interestingly enough, he was actually having an affair with a middle-aged woman at the time and didn't think it was going to look good. William Holden hadn't made a really great film since Golden Boy in 1939, so he was a lot further down the list. And the qualities both that Gloria Swanson and William Holden bring their roles are really quite extraordinary. Erich Von Stroheim had been a silent movie director. Apparently he came on the set of Sunset Boulevard every day in character, in his white gloves. It's a little bit strange. And Nancy Olson had been known as Wholesome Olson in her high school, and she is absolutely perfect in the role of Betty Schaefer. Now, the crazy thing about this film is how much of it is real. I mean, Gloria Swanson was a famous silent movie star. Erich Von Stroheim had directed her in a number of silent films, and the film clip that Norma Desmond watches of herself is of the film Queen Kelly that Erich Von Stroheim directed Gloria Swanson in, and in fact did neither of their careers any good whatsoever. When the Waxworks come over to play bridge with Norma Desmond, they are silent movie stars Anna Q. Nilsson, H.B. Warner and Buster Keaton. Swanson had been directed in a number of films by Cecil B. DeMille, and Cecil B. DeMille's nickname for Gloria Swanson was Young Fella.
Well, hello, young fella.
Hello, Mr. DeMille.
It's good to see. Look, Norma, I'm in the middle of a rehearsal. Now, why
Cecil
don't
B.
you just
DeMille,
sit up
at the
here?
time,
My chair.
1950-ish,
Make yourself
was
comfortable.
directing Samson and Delilah on the sound stages in Paramount, and so when Norma Desmond goes onto the sound stages to visit DeMille, she's visiting the soundstage of Samson and Delilah. I mean, you watch this film with all of this information in your head and just boggle at what Billy Wilder was doing in good old production code of 1950 Hollywood. I mean, as I've mentioned before, he kept a lot of his script under wraps. He submitted only bits of it at a time to the production code. The fact that he was shooting on the back lot of Paramount was a pretty big deal, and everyone was trying to get in to see the dailies. Fortunately, by this time, he was a very successful writer and a director. The Major and the Minor, Double Indemnity, Ball of Fire, The Lost Weekend, just to name a few. But even so, Hollywood flipped out when this film was released. It caused an enormous fuss. It was nominated for a lot of Academy Awards, but it only won for 3, the writing, the art direction, and the music. Louis B. Mayer, famously, went up to Billy Wilder and tore strips off him. "Look at what you have done!" And just as famously, Billy Wilder apparently told Louis B. Mayer to go yourself. So it's pretty good anyway. Can imagine telling that to Louis B. Mayer. I can't. Anyway, the film's told in flashback, so you have a level of knowledge at the beginning and all the way through the film that's just really quite extraordinary. That very famous shot at the beginning of the film, by the way, was shot by putting a mirror on the bottom of the swimming pool and shooting its reflection. The Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, Sunset Boulevard, it just can't compare to this extraordinary piece of work. Watch Sunset Boulevard for itself. That is all you need. 10 out of 10.